Mä olen englantilainen. Minun nimi on Nigel. Olen asunut Porissa 3 vuotta. Ulkomaalaiset sanovat, että suomen kieltä on vaikea oppia. Mutta onko se totta? What is true is that Finnish is a very different language from English. And what I'm going to do now is just go through some of the main differences that some of you might find interesting. The first difference is actually the alphabet itself. So there are some extra letters in Finnish, and then to add some sort of complexity to it, the way that certain letters are pronounced in Finnish can be very, very different from the way that they're pronounced in English. So I'll give you some examples. In Finnish, there are 2 letter A's, one with umlauts on and one without. First one's no different from English. So A with no dots on, avine. So same as English. But A with an umlaut on those 2 dots is very different. So that type of A, as in äiti, which means mum in Finnish, it's a much stronger, harsher sounding A. So you think, well, that's not too bad. Here's one that has caused me quite a bit of trouble. So the letter, what we call J in English, as in Joseph, that's pronounced ye. And for me, the way that I remember that is that there's this Iskoma, like country type music singer called Ye Karjalainen. 2 examples of words, Finnish words that begin with the letter J, ye, would be Juhannus, which is midsummer in Finnish, and then the other one would be joulu, which is Christmas. In Finnish, Y is pronounced y. So, as in what's nighttime in Finnish, yö. The second huge difference between English and Finnish is that in Finnish you pronounce every single letter in the word. Finnish is a much purer language than English. That means in English you often have very strange spellings that have no resemblance whatsoever to the way that the word is spelt. So this can often catch Finns out, leading to this phenomena known as rally englantia, which is the type of English spoken by Finnish rally drivers. So take the English word juice, Juice. A Finn would say juice in rally englantia. Another one would be the English word literally, so that would be literalu. So another huge difference between English and Finnish is the way that personal pronouns are dealt with. So when they're combined with a verb, the verb is bent according to the personal pronoun. So I'll just tell you what the personal pronouns are now, and then I'll give you an example of how a verb is bent. Minä, that means I. Sinä is you, singular. Hän can be either he or she, which I think is quite unusual. But this ties into what I've said previously, that I think a nation's language is inextricably linked to its culture. So in the case of Finland, it's not a surprise, given the fact that men and women, the roles between men and women are less sort of strictly defined here. So I'm not surprised that you have this personal pronoun hän that can mean either he or she. So there's quite a few songs where the lyrics of the song feature this hän, and it can apply to either a man or a woman, and it can produce some interesting results, like this one. Hän, sai mut uskomaan hän, sai mut toivomaan hän. That's enough of that. It could apply to either a bloke or a woman. Personal pronoun for we is me. You plural, it's te. And for they, it's he. Okay, so if we take the verb to be, olla, you'll see how it bends. So I am is minä olen. You're adding an N to the olla. So olen tells the listener or the reader that you're talking about I am. So you don't actually need to say minä olen. You can just say olen. Sometimes people do say minä olen for extra emphasis. You are is sinä olet, so you're adding a T to the olla verb. He, she is bent, there's an exception here, so it's like hän on. So olla becomes on if you're talking about he he is, she is, hän on. We are is me, olemme. So you're adding double M-E on the end of the olla. And, you know, like sometimes people will say me, olemme, but you don't need to, because the MME ending on the end kind of tells the reader or the listener that we're talking about we are. So olemme means we are. But if people say me olemme, it's like adding extra emphasis. So it's almost giving like if this is spoken, people speaking, they're getting two chances to understand what's being said. Me means we, olemme means we are. You are, if it's plural, te, olette. So you're adding T-T-E on the end of ole. They are is he, ovat. I live in a place called Pori, and you'll see that word changes, it bends according to the preposition. So in Finnish, the word for go, the verb to go is mennä. So we go to Pori, me, menome, Poriin. We're adding MME onto mennä, and then Poriin, you're exaggerating the last, the vowel sound, the I at the end of Pori, so it becomes Poriin, and that means to go to Pori. So if you really wanted to boil it right down, you wouldn't even need to say me, menome, Poriin. You could just say menome, Poriin, because it's obvious from the way you've bent the verb mena that you're actually talking about we are going to Pori. The preposition from, you just bend what you're referring to by adding sta at the end of the word. Hän on Porista. He is from Pori, or she is from Pori. In is SSA. So I'm in Pori, olen Porissa. There's one other issue that I've not mentioned, which is the difference between puhekieli, which is spoken language, and kirjakieli, which is book language. So far I've just been speaking kirjakieli, how Finnish is written in books, like ultra kind of formal Finnish. Obviously the type of Finnish that people actually use when they're speaking to each other on a day-to-day basis is quite different. So a quick example of the difference in written Finnish, kirjakieli, minä olen, I am, super formal. In puhekieli, mä oon. So that's actually quite interesting in that in spoken Finnish, you're more likely to hear a personal pronoun, but rather than it being minä, it's mä oon. Of course, other words are just completely abbreviated, and even I'll do that when I'm out and about. So rather than saying uksi, which is the word for one, you might say uks. Seen here, it's quite a complicated language, but super logical, like really, really logical. And I'd say another word, quite an elegant language, logically consistent and coherent, and with a degree of elegance. The other thing as well, you know, for me as somebody who's a published author, the holy grail for me in writing is to try to convey really complicated ideas in concisely, using as few words as possible without losing any meaning. And Finnish is a really good, is a really expressive language, and it's super clear and it's super concise, and I really like it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. You found it kind of remotely interesting, and you didn't mind my singing too much. So God bless.